Mr. McGill, we're ready for you now.
He reminded him that the Salamancas were the muscle, making sure everyone was staying in line and stuff.
It looks like you've completed the pre-prosecution diversion program?
That's right, 3.5 weeks ago.
I'm not going to make excuses, because there's no excuse for what I did. But as I sit here, I can assure you, nothing like that will ever happen again.
Well,
He's
not
like-
with Jimmy McGill's name.
He's exactly like Lalo. He's a manipulating little shit.
All right, that would seem to be satisfactory.
Because he's a people person.
He's saying the stuff that they want to hear to go where he wants them to be.
What does the law mean to you?
The law.
He wasn't expecting that.
Listen, growing up, becoming a lawyer was the last thing on my mind. Even if I wanted to, I didn't have the smarts or the skills or the stick-to-itiveness. But I happened to get a job with some attorneys, and I couldn't help but think, maybe I could do that? And something inside me made me want to try. Trying to pass the bar practically killed me. I must have quit 10 or 12 times, but I kept coming back to it, and I'm really glad I did, because when I got to work with actual clients, there was nothing else like it. Our legal system is complicated, and sometimes it could feel capricious, but it's the closest thing to real justice that we've got. And for it to work, it needs vigorous, passionate advocates. Helping my clients, arguing on their behalf, that's the best thing I've ever done. And this past year, I've missed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
That was very eloquent. Was there any particular influence on your views?
Credit where credit is due. The University of American Samoa. Go land crabs.
Thank you.
For what it's worth, I think that he
we have
was
everything we need.
genuine about what he
You'll
said.
be getting a letter with
I
our
don't think
decision
so.
in the next few
Because
days.
I know that he's passionate about being a lawyer.
We'll argue this at the end of the episode.
All of you.
I thought he started genuine and then he went into complete bullshit. Or if he's not, he's lying to himself. At least that's my opinion, but like I said, we'll talk about this later.
Pretty sure that his brother make a big impression on his view on the law when he
Hi.
started.
Mr. McGill.
Yes, I know they said I'd hear from them, but just between you and me, what did they decide? Hey, wait a minute. You're denying me? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Mr. McGill, this is not
Okay,
the
I did
place.
everything right. Please tell me.
Some members of the committee found you somewhat insincere.
Oh, so I'm not alone.
You're free to apply again next year.
It's sad, but at the same time, I also felt like he was lying, It was too played
Maybe-
out.
Maybe not
Playing volleyball.
what he said, but the way that he said it.
I still think what he said was not sincere. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, they've been saying goodbye.
Don't do anything stupid, man. Him and the engineer, both. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm scared.
Insincere! Insincere!
Jimmy, what happened?
Goddamn year, what am I supposed to do for a whole year?
Jimmy!
I was good, Kim. I mean, I wasn't stuck up, but I knew my shit, right? What have you been doing during your suspension? And have you been keeping up with the law? Yada, yada. And all fine. And then one of them out of nowhere comes up with this weird-ass question. What does the law mean to you?
That's a big one.
It's huge. And I nailed it. So they turned me down.
Maybe the
There's more to it
question
than that.
was
It's not.
What influenced you
I know.
on the precision of the law?
What did they say when you talked about Chuck?
What does Chuck have to do with this? What?
Well, so you didn't even.
Why would I?
They expected him to say he was influenced by his brother.
Which he
Okay,
was,
we'll figure
technically.
this out. We'll find a way to make you look sincere.
Kim, I was sincere.
I
Were
know that.
you?
I meant we
I might have been a little corny, but I meant every word.
I know that.
Maybe the
You
way
don't
that you
believe me?
said them?
Of course I do.
Jesus, it's right there on your face. You think I'm some kind of lowlife, some kind of asshole,
What?
kind of lawyer guilty people hire, right?
Jimmy, that's
You
not...
look at me and you see Slippin' Jimmy.
I never said that.
Yeah, but you thought it.
Jesus, man.
You want to know why the committee called you insincere? Because you didn't mention Chuck.
How is that sincere? Yeah, I don't think about Chuck, okay? I don't miss Chuck.
Yeah, but
Chuck
you
was
should.
alive and now he's dead, and that's that. Finito. Life goes on.
Or at least
so
that's how
sue
they
me.
see it.
There it is again. And that's why we don't have an office.
What? No, just, do not start in on that office.
I'm good enough to live with, to sleep with, but God forbid you should have an office with me.
What are you I just
Do
told
you
you
get
that...
a little bored with your life, so you come down and roll around in the dirt?
Yes.
Have some fun with Slippin' Jimmy.
Oh, is
and
it
then-
fun? Fun
Back
like
up.
lying to the ADA to get your friend out of the shitter? Or fun like standing there with a smile plastered on my face while you play infantile mind games on my law partner?
Oh, what a mistake it was to take me up to your office in the sky. You'll never do that
Yeah,
again.
maybe I won't. And maybe next time you call, I won't come.
There you go. Kick a man when he's down.
Jimmy, you are always down.
Yeah. He sees himself as a lowlife, and because of that,
He thinks
he
that
thinks that
everybody
everyone
else
sees
thinks
him
the
like
same.
that too. He's almost playing the martyr, sort of. Like, oh, they're against me and everything. Oh, they're all on my back. They're all fighting
Well,
me.
what do you expect? The one that he trusted the most, Chuck,
Was
before
like
his
that.
death, told him that you will always be Slippin' Jimmy. Accept it and deal with it.
And the only person he thought believed in him and stuff ended up not believing in him, Chuck again. So now it's almost like he doesn't want to lie to himself, but he's screwing his own life up.
You still want to be a lawyer?
Yeah.
Well, we can start with that.
Is there anything he can do?
What's going on with 6? Huh? There. What is that?
Oh, yeah. Dead pixels.
Wasn't there yesterday.
A voltage spike earlier. Camera flared for about 20 seconds, but came right back.
A voltage spike? You, let's go.
It's frozen, like it doesn't
Yeah.
show what's happening.
That's, I think it's more like a picture or something.
lights.
I mean, he's an engineer and stuff, like maybe he did something.
Engineer doesn't mean that he's good with technology.
No, but he's a genius in his own field, like, I don't know, but he left a letter. He's gonna get killed.
Oh man, you're gonna get killed, dude.
And the worst is we can't really blame him for wanting to leave.
No, I don't blame him, but
I'm really surprised it came from him. I did not expect that at all. Well, we started expecting it when he started missing his wife, but still. Gus is not gonna let that fly. Well, goodbye. That's how, yeah.
Oh, that's why.
It's not gonna go well.
Nope. You know for sure that if they do catch him up, catch him again, he's gonna be dead.
We saw it happen. We saw it, go towards that. He was depressed, stressed out. He wasn't, having fun with the others. After the phone call, it was obvious that it did not help. I'm just really sad because we know what Gus is capable of. This is really dangerous for his whole plan, his whole organization.
That was fitting. Goodbye. I'm
Yeah.
leaving.
Nope. I don't think he's gonna live long.
We did expect something coming up from Kai, but it's true. When somebody is angry, you give him time, they're gonna cool down and be okay afterwards, and you can deal with it. But when you're missing something and you get depressed over it, the only way to fix it is just to have the thing that you miss the most back in your hands, or in a way that you can reach for it.
And now Kai is in charge and stuff, so I don't know how that's gonna roll.
You need to put
Anyway,
this shit together then.
okay, we wanted to discuss the Jimmy thing. Since you say that what he said was genuine, I'm gonna go with my side first. Okay.
First, let me explain then. Okay. I do believe that he loves doing law. He loves arguing his way and coming on top of it. And if he can help his customer win at the end, that's okay. What maybe you can be right in this situation is the way that he phrased it might be not genuine though. But I think that deep down what he say, it's what he felt.
Like Kim said, I agree now that she said her side and stuff. I think that him not mentioning Chuck, considering what happened, him dying too, that's what made it sound like really not real. Because he was playing with them. We know that when Jimmy acts like this, it's hard to guess if what he's saying is true or not. Where I think is what he said was not genuine is reason for being a lawyer. We discussed this before. We agree that he became a lawyer because he wanted to show his brother that he could do it. Some of you guys say that it was Kim he was trying to impress. It could be both. But in any case, he became a lawyer because he wanted to have the big talks. He wanted to know the big words. He wanted to show off and be part of this group. He wanted to be accepted. Maybe by both, maybe by just one of the other two.
It's true that now that I think about it, when you saw Kim speaking passionately with Chuck about a case, and she was so in awe in front of him, and he had feeling for Kim back then.
Yes.
So that could be a reason why he wanted to be a lawyer, because she loved lawyers that do their job and are successful at it.
He wanted that look of admiration.
And as for Chuck, I think that, like you said, he wanted to prove his brother that he could do something and make him proud.
And we know that, and I said it in this episode too, he has a very low self-esteem. He doesn't show it, but I think that deep down, he sees himself as the screw-up, the slip-in Jimmy, and because he sees himself this way, he's been trying for so long to change that image he has of himself. He doesn't want to be the screw-up. He wants to be the successful lawyer, which is why he is willing. And he said it like a few episodes ago. He wants to be a good lawyer, like a goddamn good lawyer. And the thing is, he's willing to do anything in order to get there. He's doing his schemes. He's doing what he knows best because he feels in control. He feels powerful when he does that. In order to become a lawyer that people are gonna know, someone they're gonna remember. He wants to change that image he has of himself, the screw up. Chuck said he believed in him and he was proud of him, and then he said otherwise. He said that we found out earlier in the show that he never really cared, or at least if he did care, that's not what he said to Jimmy. That kind of shattered, I think, for Jimmy, that image he was trying to create. And now, instead of trying to change that image, he's torn between, yes, maybe still becoming that good lawyer, and always be reminded that he's still going to be the screw-up in everyone that matters' eyes. Chuck, he was trying to do so much, and still Chuck saw him as slipping Jimmy, so that never changed. So I think that that's why he lashed out at Kim. She is there and she has done nothing wrong, but then he sees her and he's putting words in her mouth. You know, he's seeing her as he saw Chuck before, someone who pretends to believe in him, but deep down thinks he's a screw up.
Yeah.
When he was talking to the others, he was talking about what law meant to him. Of course, Chuck being gone and, you know, having Kim in his bed and stuff, he doesn't need to be a lawyer to prove himself to them anymore. So he still needs a reason to be a lawyer, and that's also where I thought he wasn't completely genuine. I think for me, it's a selfish reason why he wants to be a lawyer. Because helping people is a good thing, but Kim wants to help people. That's her reason for being a lawyer. Jimmy wants to use his skills to be in power. When he did that thing with the guy from Roswell, you know, the guy that worked in the military, and and they manipulated him for his commercials.
Yeah.
And then he showed up, and he was, you know, talking to him and telling him that what he did was bad, and he had no respect for people like him and stuff. And Jimmy lost it, and he was saying like, oh, people like you always looking down at people like me and nose in the air and stuff. You think you're so much better. I think there's that. When he is a lawyer, he's the one that people look up to. He's the one that knows his stuff. He's the one that's in control, and he can manipulate the people that have been looking down on him his whole life. He feels powerful. So I think he might be, I mean, of course, if that's something like Kim wanting to do the schemes because she doesn't want to do illegal stuff, like she doesn't want to admit to it.
But she wants the adrenaline.
But she wants the adrenaline, you know? It's not something you control, and it's not something that when you wake up in the morning you say to yourself, you know what, I love the thrill of a good scheme. I'm going to do that. You know, it's who you are. So I don't think that Jimmy is telling himself like, oh, I want to be in control, I want to look down at people. No. But I still think this is maybe what pushes him as a lawyer. Which is why, to me, that his whole speech felt really insincere. For them, it was the Chuck thing. I agree. I think Chuck inspired him a lot. He pushed him a lot. For good reasons or bad reasons, he was always there for, as, you know, a motivation for him to keep going.
True.
So I feel like, and especially even like for normal people, the guy loses his brother. He says he feels bad about what he did to Chuck, but he doesn't mention be feeling sad about his death. He says he wants to be a lawyer and everything, but he doesn't mention being inspired by the best lawyer they know, which is Chuck.
Yeah.
So for them it feels weird. And it brings me back also to the thing about him not grieving, not allowing himself to grieve. I also agree with some of you guys said that not everyone grieves like Kim does, or like Jimmy should be grieving, or the way she sees him grieve. It's true. Sometimes you are so out of touch with people that when they die, it doesn't affect you. And it's not going to affect you ever. So for Jimmy to react this way, it could be like that he doesn't feel anything. But I feel like he's cut himself off.
The thing is that we know that he was influenced by Chuck, and his relation with his brother affected him deeply.
And we saw him after the death, too.
We saw him after the death, too. So that's why it's so weird for us to see him not reacting to his death, or maybe not allowing himself to express his feeling. Maybe it could be anger, it could be resentment, or just sadness, but he just doesn't feel anything.
Like we feel like it's not true.
We know for sure that he was affected by his brother.
Yeah, and it's the same. We're actually I think we think similarly to Kim here. She sees him, and she sees him not react, and he says that he's not grieving. He doesn't have to. He doesn't think about Chuck. But I think the only reason why he's reacting this way is because Chuck told him before he died not to care, not to bother feeling hurt or you know, not allowing himself to feel bad about what happened, because in the end it's not going to change anything and he's going to keep hurting people anyway. So I think this conversation is what modeled Jimmy into who he is now, which is a guy that's trying really hard not to focus on this because he's been told not to. It's sad, because if he had never been told that by Chuck, would he react differently? That's the thing, like, maybe he's right, maybe he's not lying, and this is why he's so frustrated when people tell him, well,
Well,
why are you not feeling anything? But to us, it doesn't feel natural.
I've always said, not my words, but somebody else's words. When
You've always said, but it's not your words.
But I used to say it in previous episode that's not my quote, by the way. But if you want a lie to be believable, you need to put some truth in it.
Yeah.
So he wasn't totally lying when he said his reasons about his opinion about the law and his influence on it.
And to be fair, it's not like he can say like, "Oh, I like to look down at people and manipulate them and stuff."
Also, I'm gonna try to finish my my sentence, and I tried to say it earlier than that. But usually, it's not for everybody's case, but usually, the one that knows you the most are supposed to be your family member. Yeah, and the opinion that matters the most is supposed to be your family member, your parents, your brother, your sisters, cousins, grandparents, everything.
It depends on family, but
it depends, but usually it is.
We spend more time with them, so.
So in doubt, the one that you're gonna turn over and trust this opinion and what they say is gonna be your family member, right?
Mm.
So for Jimmy to turn to his brother and to hear that I don't care about you. You're just gonna be down all your life. You mean your worth is shit. And after that, you expect Jimmy to turn over Kim, turn over Howard, and expect them to believe otherwise. That's the problem.
When you are told by the most important person in your life that you don't matter,
how could you
becomes
expect
truth.
other people to believe something else?
Yeah. It's all very sad, and I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think he's gonna. Is he still gonna wait a year? Like I don't see that happening.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna wait a year. You saw him. He doesn't want to wait a year. So since he doesn't want to wait a year, Kim's gonna do everything in her power to help him be a lawyer again. I don't know about the relationship, but she's gonna help him with that.
And maybe that enters in her good cases, folder and stuff.
Yeah.
Like she says, we'll see it we'll know when we see it. Maybe that's at the beginning when she was saying, I don't want to use our power for bad, and he was saying like what defines good and bad in your mind, and she said, we'll see it when it happens. I think maybe this is a case where she saw it happen and she believes that she can use the schemes to help him out. Anyway, that was sad. That whole fight they had at the end was really heartbreaking. And really well acted too. I don't know what they're gonna do. I want to see what they're gonna do if they don't want Jimmy to wait another year. I don't want them to go down that rabbit hole again, but it's gonna happen for sure. So, and Lalo is turning out to be a good character, by the way. It's funny because as a Salamanca, we know extremes, like we know the twins that don't talk, or we know two goes crazy.
Say tight.
Yeah, but
Lalo, soon enough.
Lalo looks like a mix of other characters. Like he's got the craziness of the Salamancas, but he's a good speaker like Gus, and he's got people skills like I don't even know, like Saul. Yeah. Well, Jimmy.
Yeah, true.
Sort of. So it's hard to we don't know him much yet, so it's hard to tell what he's thinking. But you just know that what he says is not what he thinks.
The way that he was acting, it was to make people comfortable with him and maybe sort of trust him. But you kind of know that he's judging people in his mind and trying to determine what's the character and what's their main goal.
Even more than that, like for example, Gus, I don't think he was fooled, and I don't think Lalo thought he was fooled.
Is really
but let's be real.
And
neither Nacho nor Gus, they were not fooled by the persona. But since he's acting this way, they can't guess what he's actually thinking or planning. It's not obvious. But then at the same time, you see him and you just know that he's thinking about something else, but you can't guess what it is. You can't read him because he's playing this character. And it's really interesting. I like it. It like I said, it reminded me of a Saul Salamanca,
Well, it reminds me of when Gus just cut open his henchman's throat in Breaking Bad, because Gus is
intense.
Always calm, always pose, and he doesn't scream or shout when he's angry. Oh. So usually he's not.
Except when he's about to die.
Except that, but when you're really calm, sorry for my English, when you're really calm and posed and you don't scream when you're angry, you don't know what to expect with this type of characters.
With Gus, you don't know what to expect, but he's got calm intensity, so you know when he's angry. Lalo, I feel like...
Do you think it's worse with Lalo because he seemed really like jovial and stuff?
I think it's similar. It's just... It has the same effect, it's in a different way. Like, he does it with a smile and jokes and just personality, and Gus does it with calm and intensity.
You know what it reminds me of? In some anime, you got this character that is gonna just be smiling and, oh, she's so nice, and then you're just gonna kill you afterwards.
Something like that.
It's the same
actually,
thing.
I was thinking of a scene that, it's not a scene that happened, but I was thinking that Lalo is the type of character that if he's like sitting in front of your desk and something, and you're insulting him because you think you've won, he'd be the type of character, at least that's what I get from what I saw in this episode, he'd be the type of character to be like, ha ha ha, you're so right, yeah! Kill you right after, you know? While he's still laughing.
Yeah.
He's a Salamanca, so I don't expect him to be nice, you know? But anyway. I'm not gonna judge him on his last name. I'm gonna judge him on what he does. And right now, I appreciate.
I kind of judge him on his last name because you cannot trust.
Well, you know who raised him.
Except Diabola, you can trust Diabola.
You know who raised him, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a good episode. So thank you guys so much.
I'd like to finally know where the bell came from.
The what? The bell? Oh yeah. Stuff in place.
Theo, remember when we burned or killed that man?
Did you call him Uncle Theo?
I started to say uncle, but remember Theo, Hector, when you beat the shit up that man and probably killed him.
Good times.
I took a souvenir for you.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. We have to end it because it's really hot in here. Yeah. I'm gonna go buy the AC. Thank you so much for watching this with us. If you want to see the next one right away, it's gonna be on Patreon soon. Check it out. The link is in the description.
So if you want to see the finale with us, don't forget to subscribe.
Finale already?
Yeah, finale already.
Oh.
Episode 9. Next one, episode 10. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. The link is down below. And if not, we'll the next one to be out on YouTube, guys.
In a few days.
Yeah. See you then.
Bye.